Hey guys, and welcome to Kids Church Mobile. It is Wednesday. I'm actually on vacation, so I'm pre-recording this, but I wanted to let you guys know really fast to give me a text, 352-789. Let me know that you're watching today. Halfway through today's lesson, I'm going to be giving you our third word out of 3 for our next 3-word clue. So if you listen on Friday and on Monday, you know what the first 2 clues are. And today I will be giving you your final clue. I'll give you a hint. Friday was a color, Monday was a number, and today is going to give you one more clue that I think if you type all 3 into Google, you should come up with a picture. Now, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, you should come up with a cool picture. And I guess a second sneeze. All right, you should come up with a picture. Google it to me, and I'll give you a hint. You don't see them often, but I saw one the other day, which is what gave me the idea for the clue. Alrighty, see if you can figure it out. Halfway through our story today, I will be telling you the 3rd clue word. All right, we're going to get right to it today. Oh, no. First, no, you know what? I'm going to save it. At the end of our lesson today, I'm going to show you another item in our summer splash pack. It's sitting right next to me. You guys are going to love it. I really should have given you like 5 of them so you can't use them against your siblings and they can't defend themselves. Yeah, you'll have to just wait and see. At the end today, I'll show you what one of our other prizes is in our summer splash pack. I'll be giving that away on the first Wednesday of the month of August. So every time you listen, make sure you send me your name in so I can get you in the drawing. It's going to be a cool summer splash pack. All right, let's get right into our story. Are you ready? Do you have your action Bibles ready? We are going to go, and we're starting on page 394. Now, keep in mind that we are on page 394. We're dealing with a wicked King Ahab and wicked Queen Jezebel. Evil, Knievel people. All right, and you're going to find out a little bit more about Ahab today. He's evil, but he's also whiny. Do you guys ever use what I call the voice? You're like, wah, I don't get what I want. And you turn on that like little kid bratty voice. Ugh. As a parent, it makes me crazy when my kids use what I call the voice. Ahab is going to use the voice over and over in our lesson today. I'll make sure to use the voice when I do his voice because I'm quite sure he was using it in real life. Are you guys ready? Okay. This one, the first story is called The Grapes of Envy. We're on page 394. Here we go. When Elijah and Elisha do God's work in the countryside, King Ahab makes a surprise visit to one of his subjects. Naboth, I want to buy your vineyard. Or if you like, I'll give you another in exchange for it. So at this point, he's still being kind of nice. He's like, hey, dude, Naboth, I want to buy your vineyard. Anybody know anyone named Naboth? Me neither. Weird name. But he says, I want to buy your vineyard, like where you have all your grapes. Naboth probably took really good care of his vineyard, which is probably why Ahab wanted it. So Ahab loves his vineyard. And so he says, I'm sorry, O king, but our family has owned this vineyard for many years. It would not be right to sell it to someone outside the family. Ahab, look at those eyes. Kind of scary, huh? He says, you may also find that it is not right to displease your king. Then look at him. Look at him. He's the king of the whole land. Look at him down in that picture. Like a spoiled child who can't have his own way, Ahab returns to the palace. Look at him. He like throws himself down on the bed like a spoiled brat. And his wife, the wicked Queen Jezebel, says, what's the matter? Are you ill? And he says, no. Okay, here's the voice. No, I want Naboth's vineyard, but he won't sell it to me. Okay, please tell me you guys don't use the voice. Spare your parents. Spare your siblings and determined to never use the voice again. Oh, I hate the voice, but here he is using it. Yeah, I want Naboth's vineyard. He won't sell it to me. And he's acting like a spoiled brat throwing himself down on his bed. Yeah, the king of the whole nation. Stupid. All right, here we go. Jezebel, who's just straight pure evil, says, what do you mean? Who's the king here? Don't worry, I'll give you your vineyard. She never uses the voice. that voice. She uses her mean voice. Quickly, Jezebel writes a letter to the city leaders, but she signs the king's name to it. Find 2 scoundrels and have them accuse Naboth of blaspheming against God. Then stone Naboth to death. She doesn't even care about God, but she knows that Naboth does. So she's like, okay, throw a banquet, invite all these people, make sure 2 of them are scoundrels. Scoundrels are people who will do whatever you tell them to do for money, who don't care about God, who don't care about doing what's right. So she gets 2 scoundrels. And the guys, check it out, look what happens when they get the letter from Queen Jezebel. When the elders receive the letter, one guy says, but Naboth is a good man. This letter may say Ahab, but it's the work of Jezebel. And the second guy says, do we dare disobey these orders if they came from the queen? And the other guy says, not if we value our lives. No one can save Naboth if Jezebel is out to get him. So they bring them all together. This is not in your story right here, but they bring them together for a dinner. Everybody's having a nice big feast and good food, and Naboth is just eating away, probably wondering why he got invited. And then this guy stands up and says, you know what? I heard Naboth the other day cursing God. Naboth is probably like, what? I would never curse God. And the other guy says, yes, he did. I heard it too. And because both of them collaborate between each other and both of them are scoundrels and lie, they take Naboth out and they stone him to death. And it's kind of gross, but you can see like the dogs licking the blood. All right, so go ahead and go to that next page. The elders carry out Jezebel's instructions exactly as she has commanded. At their hands and her orders, an honorable man is wrongly executed. Naboth is stoned to death in the streets, and stray dogs lick his blood off the stones. What a horrible way to die, especially for a man of honor. When Jezebel gets the report of Naboth's death, she hurries to the king. It's your lucky day. Naboth is dead, and I'm giving you his vineyard. Ahab is like, oh, yeah, can you hear the voice and just see his like little spoiled brat smile? Oh, it makes me so mad. He goes, good, I'll take it at once. He's just being a brat. Please don't act like that. That's just so bratty. Okay. Look at him now. And the next one, he's acting like a king again. He's like, I love getting what I want, and I didn't even have to pay for it. But as King Ahab is gloating over his new vineyard, Elijah, the prophet of God, suddenly appears. He hates Elijah. If it isn't my old enemy, Elijah says, yes, and I have a message from God. Did you kill to get your will? Then you will suffer as Naboth suffered, and so will your wife Jezebel. Yeah, it doesn't tell exactly in here, but in the real Bible it says, Ahab, your blood is going to be licked up by dogs also. Ugh. All right. Now we're halfway through our reading today, so I'm about to give you our word. Do not start looking up these clues yet. Wait till the video's done, okay? Because I want you to hear what still is about to happen to Ahab. You don't want to miss that. The word today is leaf, okay? I should probably give this to you at the end so you don't get distracted thinking about it. But the word is leaf, all right? You got it. Now get it out of your head, all right? We're back to our reading. All right. The next story on page 397 is called A Bad Disguise. All right. Now, I'm going to have to explain this a little bit. Remember how the nation divided? You had Israel up north and you had Judah down south. Like they're kind of 2 different countries with 2 different kings now. Remember they had a civil war and they split? Israel's now 2 countries. Well, Ahab, the spoiled brat evil king, is up here in northern Israel. And there's another king down here named Jehoshaphat. I would hate to name my kid Jehoshaphat, but someone did. No, I'm not judging them. So Jehoshaphat's king in Judah, and King Ahab is king in Israel. Now Jehoshaphat he actually loves God. He honors God, not King Ahab at all. But he says, you know what? I don't like how the nation's divided. I'm going to make friends with King Ahab so that our countries can be friends, because usually they fight against each other. So Jehoshaphat's a good guy, but it's probably not very smart for him to make friends with such a bad guy. Ooh. But we're going to read about that. Here we go. For most of Ahab's reign in Israel, Jehoshaphat has ruled Judah. For years, the divided kingdoms of Israel and Judah have warred with each other. But Jehoshaphat has been a good king who honors the Lord, and he's even made peace with Israel. Jehoshaphat also lets his son marry Ahab and Jezebel's daughter, Athaliah. All right, spoiler alert. Jehoshaphat should never have let his son marry the daughter of Jezebel and Ahab, because they're just evil. They're pure evil, and so is their kid. And spoiler alert, Athaliah is going to go on to murder her own grandkids. I mean, she is evil just like her mom. Jehoshaphat never should have brought her into his family. Guys, listen. Honor God, but also when you get older, don't marry someone who doesn't honor God. It'll destroy your whole family. Just marry someone who honors God like you. And I'll tell you, that is going to be so much more peace and like-mindedness. I know you guys are like 10. I'm sorry. Okay, how old are you? You're not all 10. How old are you? Yeah, okay. So you're that old, and yeah, you're not thinking about marriage yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, marry someone who honors God, all right? Okay, that was a big spoiler alert for later. Let's go ahead and keep moving on with today's story. All right, one day when the king of Judah, which is, remember his funny name, Jehoshaphat? When the king of Judah comes for a visit, Ahab asks him for a kingly favor. He says, "The Arameans took one of my cities." You know what? Let's use the voice for fun. "The Arameans took one of my cities. Will you help me drive them out?" He deserves his voice to be sounding like that. Yeah. All right. So Jehoshaphat says, "Your war is my war, Ahab, but you should seek the Lord's advice first." Okay, because remember, Jehoshaphat honors God, and he wants to do what's right. So Ahab doesn't honor God. Remember how they killed all the prophets of Baal? Well, he's had time to develop some more, so he calls all of his prophets. Ahab calls in 400 of his prophets. When he asks them if he should go to war, all of them give him the answer that he wants to hear. You see the one saying, "Attack and be victorious." And another one says, "You will gore the Arameans like a bull on a rampage." I mean, they're all like, "Yeah, go for it, king." Now, Jehoshaphat, he's kind of like, these do not look like God's prophets. So he says, don't you have any prophets of the Lord to ask? Remember, because Jehoshaphat does honor the real God. "Well," I got to use the voice, "there is one, but I hate him. He only ever prophesies bad things about me." There's Ahab using his voice, the voice again. Ugh. All right, so Jehoshaphat is like, he says, "You know what? You need to call him, because I'm not going out to battle with you unless we hear from a prophet of God, the real God." So unwillingly summoned, the prophet Micaiah duly appears before the king. So they go get this guy Micaiah, the one that actually speaks for God. And he says, you can see the guy in the back say, "I was sure he meant Elijah." But no, he's talking about this guy Micaiah. And Micaiah says, and Micaiah's being sarcastic. He's like, "Oh, most sincerely, my honored king, you will definitely win the battle. Attack and be victorious." So Micaiah is using kind of a voice of his own. He's obviously being very sarcastic. He's like, "Yeah, you're only going to hear what you want to hear anyway." And the king says, "Don't be sarcastic. Tell the truth." So Micaiah says to him, "You want the truth? All these prophets are liars, and the Arameans will certainly kill you. May I go now?" Ahab was like, "Duh!" And so he says, "Take him away, lock him up. You'll get out of prison when I return safely." And Micaiah says, "If you return safely, I'm not a prophet of the Lord. I mean it." So as he's being dragged away, you can see, well, first of all, King Ahab says to King Jehoshaphat, "See, I told you he never says anything nice about me." But in the back of Ahab's head, he's like, "But man, he's the prophet of the Lord. He actually speaks for the true God. He just told me I'm about to get killed in this battle." So he comes up with a plan. And I cannot believe Jehoshaphat goes along with this plan. I love Jehoshaphat, but he makes some pretty bad decisions. But here we go. So as King Ahab prepares for battle against the Aramean invaders, remember he was told he was going to die in this battle, he worries about Micaiah's prophecy. He says, "I'll disguise myself so the enemy won't recognize me." Okay, Jehoshaphat, I love Jehoshaphat, but he's just stupid in this story. He's a good king who loves God, but Ahab says to him, you know what, Jehoshaphat, it's me that they're after. So you wear your kingly robes, and I'm going to dress like a regular person. Then they won't kill me. And I'm thinking, Jehoshaphat, then they will kill you. Jehoshaphat says, okay, we'll do it. Ugh. Crazy Jehoshaphat, don't fall for that. All right, well, here we go. So, King Ahab dresses like a regular soldier, and King Jehoshaphat wears his fancy robes. Ahab is right. The enemy does not recognize him. The Aramean soldiers focus their attack on King Jehoshaphat. But in the heat of the battle, a stray arrow strikes Ahab. And there was some guy just like, boo, shot an arrow up into the air toward the enemy, just randomly. And who does it hit? Ahab. In fact, the other enemy had said, you know what, we're not trying to kill everyone, we're just trying to get King Ahab. In fact, they're trying to attack King Jehoshaphat, and because he's wearing all the fancy king robes and stuff, and they realize it's not really him. They turn their back, they let Jehoshaphat go. They're like, this is not him, where's the real king? Meanwhile, a stray, I want to say bullet, not bullet, a stray arrow hits, out of all people, King Ahab. Because if God prophesied it, it's going to happen, no matter what you try to disguise yourself as. So Ahab gets nailed. See the arrow? He says, drive me out of the fighting. I've been wounded. But the battle is so fierce around them that his driver is unable to retreat. Ahab faints, propped up for hours as he slowly bleeds to death in his own chariot. This is kind of gross. When the battle finally ends for the day, look, the king is dead. Without their king, the Israelites retreat and the campaign fails. King Ahab's body is taken back to the capital for burial. Remember, though, the prophecy said that he was going to be, his blood was going to be licked up. And his chariot is taken outside the city to be washed. All right, now here's where Micaiah's prophecy and the first part of Elijah's prophecy has come true. Because as they wash out his chariot, the blood, the dogs lick it up. Just like God said would happen. All right, guys, I'm going to have to go for the day. But I just want to remind you that to give me a call. Oh, I want to show you this too really fast. And then I got to go because my dogs are going crazy. In Wednesday's splash pack. Bum, bum, bum. Dun, dun. That was your fast look at what's going to be in your summer splash pack. Like I said, I really should give you like 5 so that your siblings have a chance to defend themselves. But I'm only giving you 1, so hope that you get it and not your brother or sister because they're going to douse you with the splash. All right, I love you guys. I'm going to try to have a video ready for Friday. We'll see if I get it done. If you show up on Friday and it's not there, please forgive me, and I'll see you back on Monday. All right, but I think I'm going to get it done, so try for Friday. Love you guys. Bye.